Online.
Ladies and gentlemen.
May I have your attention, please? Are you guys ready?
Chaos is about to become order.
Inside the man cave.
Yeah.
Online.
Ladies and gentlemen.
May I have your attention, please? Are you guys ready?
Chaos is about to become order.
Inside the man cave.
Yeah.
Inside the Man Cave podcast show with me, Johnny Compian, live at 3 a.m. What else is there to do? Nothing. Just broadcast live, right? Just go on, drink beer all day, and just wait until there's nobody awake, or is anybody awake out there? I'm sure you're out there doing what you're doing. If you tune in, I appreciate it. You can follow me on Twitter at Johnny Compian. Just wanted to jump on live here and kind of test the waters and see how the late night crowd works here on YouTube live. Um, there's a couple of things that I had put out on my previous podcast, but I I ran into a couple of stories that I had to touch base on, and let's see if I can play a little video from this. Um, let's see. Okay, so we're watching Coldplay, right? It was a story that came out that they're I'm not a huge fan. And if you're offended, I apologize. But where there's fans who are in the audience that are sitting on these bikes and they're powering up the band to play. I just think that's outrageous. I'd like to hear a little bit more from the singer if he wants to elaborate on it. I don't know if this interview has it. I just YouTubed it and it came up. Here we go. See if he talks about it at all. I doubt it. Oh no, see, let's not listen to Coldplay. I'm like I said, I'm not a huge fan. I want to see about the bike stuff. I'm sure they're a great band. Um, I think I like a song or two, but I'm not a huge fan or follower of the band. But when I saw that story, I started thinking about other artists, right? Who's gonna jump on board? Because that's what I heard. There's other bands that are gonna jump on board on this deal where they they're kind of using the audience to kind of power up, give them power to power up their instruments and their lights and stuff, which is cool. I mean, I get it, right? Okay. Okay. I get it. They're trying to do good for the environment and I'm all for it. I just don't, you know how concert tickets are right now. I try to go. I wanted to attend a Deftones show that was in Texas, and for a GA ticket, it was $300. I'm not a cheapskate. I just don't see myself paying 300 plus because there's going to be a huge service charge. So you're probably going to pay almost a little over 400. and then getting the parking and all that, getting yourself a beverage, something to eat, a shirt, a poster, whatever you like to get when you go to these shows, right? Um, but think about that. Think about going to a show that's going to cost you $300, and all of a sudden they're like, "Hey, you're up next for what? What am I doing?" Well, you gotta jump on that bike so we can keep watching the show to power it up. I mean, I'm not saying that's the way exactly it's going down. That's just the way I see it because we haven't experienced it yet, but I'm sure it's coming. I mean, how do you guys feel about that? Are you cool with that? Are you cool paying 300 plus? And I've seen other tickets where they're going 1,000. I mean, if you want to sit close up to these guys, you're going to pay a lot of money. And you're paying all this cash. Then you got to get on the exercise bike and start pedaling away to power up these instruments and these lights. I mean, look at that stage there. Look at that huge stage they have with all these lights. Where is this section at? Is it in the front? Do you at least get to sit in the front and look up right in the front row? And you get a 30-minute limit. You got to pedal for 30 minutes and then pass it on to the next person, next fan. How do you guys feel about that? I think I mean, it's cool. And then what did they see? What did he say? They plant a tree. Okay, cool. I guess I guess it's okay. I just don't want to do it. I'm used to paying my money, going in, um, hanging out, checking out the scene, and having a good time when I go to a show. I don't want to go and work out. Is this what it's like boiling down to? We just want you guys. You guys are overweight. There's a lot of obesity in the country. We want you to come to our shows, but you got to work out while you listen to our music. That's a bunch of crap if that's what they're saying in a roundabout way. And I'm not saying that's a fact. It kind of seems that way. I find it kind of ironic how they have these exercise bike. Can't you do anything else? Come up with another concept where um you just make people like go out there and help you power it up. Can't we pay more for the ticket, right? And call Elon Musk and have him send over some of his solar power units that we can put in there and power them up during the day. So when by the time we get there to watch the show, we don't have to pedal or anything. I don't know. I just think it's crazy. Um, you can follow me on Twitter at Johnny Compion or on Anchor, where I have a few podcasts that I just posted. Um, Go check it out. There's a couple in there. They're pretty short. I'm trying not to do so long of a podcast, just to kind of keep people engaged. I really don't talk about things that are very important and things that need to be said, or I don't have no kind of agenda. I just enjoy come out here and talk, and just like everybody else, right? Everybody loves to do this stuff live, and I'm cool with that. Um, it's 3 in the morning. There's nobody awake, and live on YouTube. I like to get monetized, but I keep getting flagged because I'm putting all these videos up. So I'm trying to do less music and more video content, and we can kind of talk about it and the big stories and stuff. But I ran into a story today um, about a major drug smuggling tunnel discovered in Tijuana. So it's from Tijuana into San Diego, and I'm seeing some pictures of this. It's incredible. Um, let's see if we can find some video on it. I think that would kind of do us some justice, right? Let's see here. Let's look. We're gonna do stuff on the fly here. Oh, here we go. This is a great thing about. Let's listen to the story. All right, let's listen to the story and then we'll talk about it. Wow. Wow, that's crazy. Um, I mean, you see that, and it's insane how these operations um, come about, right? Um, I mean, you look at all that drug that's hitting the streets. It's a huge amount. We're having a huge problem with that fentanyl. So yeah, I can see where these agencies are trying to stop that. But there's no way because I mean, how long is this operation? I've heard of stories about how they have these tunnels crossing over from Mexico or other parts of these border towns, just to kind of move in the drugs because they can't. The security got tight, and there's no way to kind of get these drugs into the city, into the streets how they used to. Right? Things change. Now security's pretty tight. I'm sure there's drugs that are still getting through into the United States, but it's amazing how these stories pop up. I saw this and I was like, man, haven't we talked about this before? But they said that it reached from Tijuana all the way into San Diego. It was like 6 football fields long, and it went underneath a warehouse. So that's where all the drugs are going. They were just kind of walking them over, or who knows how they were doing the operation. I guess they had their people that were doing it. And they say they only arrested 6 people. Man, that's incredible. There was more people involved in this huge operation. Um, Unbelievable. Just watching that, and it just blows my mind how um, can you imagine the work that went into building and taking care of this tunnel that went 6 football fields long. The work. I mean, how deep was it? I'm seeing pictures. It's incredible. It's incredible. I mean, there it is right there. Look on the video. It's incredible how people start these projects and it manifests into something huge. I mean, it's not funny. There's people dying on the streets from these illegal drugs getting on. I'm not talking about marijuana. Marijuana is not a drug. It's a plant, right? I'm talking about these pills they're bringing in and heroin and yeah, all that bad shit that's really taking people down left and right. So, yeah, it's crazy how they only got 6 people and they lost a lot of money. But that's nothing because they're making so much money hand over fist with these operations. That's just one. How many bundles or shipments have gotten through this area? They've only lost one. And how are they gonna cover it up and seal it? I need to follow this story. I find it interesting on how these things happen. Um, so I just was fascinated by seeing it. You're listening to Inside the Man Cave podcast show with me, Johnny Compion, late into the morning or early into the morning. It's what, 3:15 a.m. and I'm still up doing this. I'm trying to get some hours to try to um, get monetized. That's like a goal, right? Everybody's doing it, so I want to jump on board and see if I can do this. I think you have to do like 4,000 hours. I watch other YouTubers do it, and they go on and just talk about stuff, and that's different things and what they're doing, what they're eating, and what their day's been like. So I'm gonna try to do that and bore you a little bit. If you want to jump in on the chat, you're more than welcome to. I'll answer your questions and maybe put up a link where you can join me if you want and kind of debate me on whatever I'm talking about. If you disagree about any of these things that I've talked about, I mean, you're more than welcome to come in and join me on this podcast. I'm pretty open about this. I don't mind. I'm not here to start an argument or a fight. I just want to have a good time and just kind of talk to people and see how everybody's doing. Check the gauge of everybody. But yeah, you are in the man cave, as you can see behind me. Um, so I'll come on and then I'll kind of lose my train of thought and then reset. So you'll kind of lose me here for a minute. So just bear with me and sit back and throw up some comments. That would be cool. That would help me out along the way. But I'm gonna check out these other stories because I have some stuff that I have on my notes, and I always try to save stories to go back on. Um, but yesterday, Tuesday, Taco Tuesday, which I didn't have any tacos. I would have loved tacos, but I had what did I have? I made I made a BLT for lunch, and then I had a turkey sandwich that I made that was really good with some Swiss cheese melted. Oh, it was really good. And some leftover bacon. So that was my food intake for the day. So and maybe I'll bring some food in here. I just and do that, right? And see how that goes. Because like I said, everybody's doing it. You want to see what people are eating and just hang out and sit around and see what's going on. Like I guess that's what the way we're doing things now, right? Through cameras, and we can bring you into our house or our studios or whatever wherever we broadcast from, our front yard, backyard, or um, I think it's kind of fun. I just got to get used to it. Just got to relax more, because you're actually just talking and blabbing, and you're wondering, is there anybody that is watching? Probably not. I probably have no viewers, and that's cool. I'm cool with it, right? So the NBA draft, they picked the uh, the picks today for the lineup on how these drafts are going to come about. And the San Antonio Spurs are picking ninth. The Orlando Magic is picking number one, which is cool, right? The last time that they picked number one was when they picked Shaq up, right? Which was cool. Shaquille O'Neal from San Antonio, Cole High School. And I mean, he's a cool dude. So, you know, it's a good thing. Number 9, San Antonio, I was hoping they would get a higher a pick, but it didn't happen for us. I feel bad for RC and Pop right now and the city of San Antonio, um, because there was a whole bunch of things that stirred up about moving the team and doing this and that here in San Antonio, and it involved Austin and the Alamo Dome and doing a few games away. um, which I didn't agree on that. I'm kind of like, you got a home here. Just make it better, right? Just spice it up more and make it more attractive. But I think San Antonio lost that when we, knocked down or imploded part of our arena or all of our arena down on downtown where the Grand Hyatt is, if you don't know. Yeah, so it's it sucks because now you got to drive out into deep into the east side of San Antonio off of 35 and go see a San Antonio Spurs game. When before all you did is you drive downtown, you park at the Marriott or you would park, somewhere downtown and you would walk over and you can watch a game afterwards, go downtown. If you're not a huge fan of the Riverwalk, you would, go to one of the local pubs, downtown. And it just helped downtown out a lot. I feel that it took a major hit because now people don't want to get in their cars. And this discussion's been around for a while, but people don't want to go drive to the AT&T Center, then leave, go back downtown, and then it's a little bit of a haul because now you got to wait for traffic to clear up a little bit, and then you have to go find parking downtown. It's normally crowded. Trying to find parking on a Friday or a Saturday. Um, so it's just a big hassle. I think the Spurs really wish that they could have kept. Well, I know I am the way I feel about it. I wish they would have just kept the arena downtown. Um, it would have helped out. But yeah, they got the number ninth pick overall, and they had David Robinson, the Admiral, go out there and represent the San Antonio Spurs organization, which is David is so cool. Um, and it was it was cool because I was watching it on ESPN prior to the picks. And so they invited David out, the Admiral, with these the top three picks that are coming out of college that are about their lives about to change going into the NBA. And what was interesting was these guys were taller than David, the Admiral. Wow. But I can still see David Robinson as a rookie. I remember him coming in to San Antonio as a rookie. It was pretty cool. Um, and now to see him, um, kind of cool because David did a lot for this city, and we really appreciate the Admiral David Robinson. He's done so much for the community here, and it's really cool that he still sticks around and helps out. I mean, he could have left and went anywhere, but he didn't. So let's watch a couple of highlights here of David Robinson. I mean, he was just a monster. Look how lean and just, I mean, from the Naval Academy, he came out. And I remember being there on draft night. It was really cool being a part of that in history and then him getting a championship. There goes Sean Elliott. Oh, how ironic. You had the Orlando Magic, who did get the number one pick. So it's interesting. I love me some David Robinson. He was just so um a lot of people around the NBA they called him soft. He just was a smart player. Um and that's one thing that would be really cool is before Coach Popovich walks away because he's going to walk away at some point, right? He can come out and talk about how it was when they got these picks, these number one picks, for David and for Tim Duncan. It would be cool for Pop to do something uncensored that you know I think that would be awesome because the Spurs, they went on and did some things after that, which is really great. Um, it's so cool to see these highlights. He was so young, and I think that those games were, I don't know. Okay, let's see. They played a he David played a lot, and okay, so that there is, I think that's the hemisphere. I don't know that's the old logo. I think that's the Alamo Dome. Can't be the hemisphere. Oh yeah, hemisphere. There it is on the floor. Wow. Hmm. Interesting. See, that's where they should have kept it. I remember being around, working these concerts downtown during Fiesta, and the playoffs were around that time in April. Um, yeah, they played at the Hemisphere Arena. God, it's just been so long. I really wish they just would have rebuilt there. It would have been so awesome, connected to the Grand Hyatt. It just didn't happen. I don't know all the facts or any of the things that happened in the city with the voting, that they couldn't get the votes to keep, the arena downtown. I don't know all the facts about that. Just such a long time ago. But I really wish they would have kept that Hemisphere Arena. Or can they do it now? Can they take away that, whatever that thing is, um, they have there? It sucks. Whatever it is, that new place they have next to the Grand Hyatt where they put that where the hemisphere used to be, take that away. That is ugly. I've been in there too, and it's like a barn. I hate it. It was so stupid for the city of San Antonio to do that. I don't know whose decision was to make that, but shame on you. You kind of killed our whole stride, and just, it would have been so cool to have that arena downtown and winning those championships downtown in the heart of the city. But no, they had to change it up. But we're watching a little bit of history and some highlights. Wow, that's Jordan against Robinson. That is crazy. Wow, that's pretty cool. I love the NBA. I'm just not into it now. There's a lot of new players coming in. Um, and the game's changed. So I'm not saying I'm not a fan of the game. I am. I love it. I mean, when I get a chance, I will sit down and watch any team play, except the Dallas Mavericks. I'm not a huge Maverick fan, and I can't stand that team. There's something about that team I can't. I think it starts with Mark Cuban. He's an ass. I don't really care. That's just my opinion about him. He might be a cool dude, but to me, he's an ass. I hope they don't get another championship. I would always say I don't want them to win any championships, just like Houston, the Texans. I'm not a Texan fan at all. But The Rockets, nope. The Mavericks, nope. Always been a San Antonio Spurs fan since I was a kid. Huge fan. And it was cool to, have the city of San Antonio win 5 championships. I'm a happy man that I was able to be in this city, when it happens, just witness that and how the city felt and how we embraced the team and, the history with Coach Pop. It's incredible. And Pop is still at the helm and he's in rebuild mode. The San Antonio Spurs are in rebuild mode. And I think that's cool. It's cool, but it's going to be a while before that team is going to do anything. There's so many great teams out there. Your Memphis Grizzlies. Um, who else? Boston, Miami. I mean, we've been in romps with all those teams back in the day, but now we can't even hardly sniff the playoffs. We do like play-ins. I'm not used to that. I can't watch that. I got friends who are like just sitting around watching. I'm like, why would you waste your time watching that? Playing games. Not used to that. I'm used to winning championships in this city. Now we got to go put our hand out up north in Austin to see if maybe you can help us out with some money because we cannot sell tickets here. Come on, we're better than that. I hate that. I hate to hear that. You shouldn't have to do that. This team has done a lot for this city. And I know people are hurting for money and jobs and everything that comes along, right? The gas is up really high right now. I saw it today for 4 and a quarter. Never seen it that high. Since I was a kid, I've never seen it that high. It's incredible. But it's in the times we live in. Hopefully that would change. And it's just sad to see my team go through these growing pains and having to go out and put your hand out there and say, "Hey, Austin, you guys got any money that we can have so we can keep our team in San Antonio?" Or if you're in Austin, you're up north and saying, "Man, we'd love to have the San Antonio Spurs here. We got a new place down here. Um, they would sure look nice playing in our city, right?" I can imagine that. I cannot imagine losing our team. And they're saying they did a vote and say, no, for the next couple of seasons, we'll play a couple games here and there out of town. But San Antonio will always be the home of the San Antonio Spurs. I call BS on that. I call BS because things change, people change their minds. They're going to start feeling it and say, you know what? Last time we played up in Austin, we made some money and we sold out every night we were there. And the city of San Antonio is going to have to make some decisions because if you lose the Spurs, ooh, that's going to be a tough one to take. I don't know about you, but that would hurt. That would hurt. Tell me what you think. Hit me up on the chat. Um, tweet at me at Johnny Compian on Twitter. Look me up on social media on YouTube. Hit me up with some questions. I'll try to answer them. Let's reminisce about the old times in NBA or whatever you guys want to talk about. So there's something else that was in the news today. Well, yesterday. I think it came out like Monday. It was a Rolling Stone magazine article that came out about the last few days of Tyler Hawkins, the drummer of the Foo Fighters, who sadly passed away. It just seems like yesterday. But on my last podcast, I talked about James Hetfield. And he came out and he's like, "Man, I feel old. I feel like I can't do this. I feel like I can't play guitar anymore." He didn't look right. His eyes didn't look right. He didn't look right. He just had this look like, "Man, I just want to be somewhere else besides here." And you would think that he would never get that feeling. I bet you that's the best feeling in the world, to be up on stage and just have people just really enjoying what you're doing, right? And that's what you think. These guys are like machines, and they could just keep going city to city, drinking and doing whatever they do. And some guys stay sober, some don't. But it's rough because you're away from your family, and it's rough being on the road. I get it. I get it. But I heard some things um about Hawkins saying that he was exhausted, and it's sad to hear. Sad to hear. And you know, my heart goes out to him. I mean, he was crying out. I mean, who knows? Um, it says he was burnt out by the Foo Fighters schedule. Yeah, they were just going, but weren't they just coming back, right? From everybody took a break. They did a couple shows. I remember they did some streams on YouTube from the Roxy and the Troubadour in Los Angeles. So, I mean, could it be a buildup of all these shows that they've done? And, it's crazy because, that's what these guys do. I mean, I can't say they're built for that, but that's what they do, man, right? Wow. So now that this article came out and they asked all these friends about what was going on, everybody's backtracking and saying, "Hey, man, they took." Well, not backtracking. Got to choose my words carefully here. Um, with saying they were using their words out of content, and I mean, who knows? You know, Rolling Stone is very credible, right? It's just not some small town paper. So when you see that, you kind of tend to believe it, especially if they're getting, interviews with some of the big dogs that were around these guys, the Foo Fighters. I just don't. It could have been one of those deals where he had been home for a while. They did a couple shows here, and everybody was on lockdown. And all of a sudden, like they said, he sees that tour schedule and he starts getting anxiety. Like, shit, I got to get on the plane. I got to go over here. I got to do that. And then your anxiety is like, Taylor had a lot of problems in his life, and it didn't even seem like it. Every time you would see the guy on social media, where you would see him hanging around other bands or, with his side project, doing stuff, recording with Dave Navarro, he seemed in good spirits. Like he was doing that on the side to kind of keep, the momentum up and trying to keep up with everything they were doing. But I mean, what can you say about that now? You can't finger point. Well, you should have done this. You know what? They've been doing the Foo Fighters were on the road and touring for years. That band has been around for a while. I really think, and I hate to say this because I'm a huge fan of the band. I never got a chance to see him live, and shame on me because I've been to a lot of shows and I've said it on my podcast that I've never had a chance to see the Foo Fighters live. I was in the same city right down the street from where they were playing, had an opportunity, but I was like, you know what? I'd rather go hang out and do something else. I wasn't really interested, but I was a huge fan and still am. But I feel, and here it goes. I mean, I feel like I want to throw up just saying this, but I feel that it was everything that Taylor was doing and partaking in that was kind of really slowing him down and kind of giving him doubts. And I go back and I think of when I say that I think of James Hetfield, what he did in Brazil just the other day. It was very painful to see that man on his knees, kind of just down and um very emotional. And his band was around. Hopefully James is getting the help because look what happened to Taylor Hawkins. I don't know the facts. I can't come on here and say, "Oh, he did this and that." I'm just saying that's my speculation and what I think and what I'm seeing from the outside. I feel that he really, really just walked that fine line and was like, "You know what? I'm just gonna do what I do to make me feel better, to try to get better so I get back home." And it was too much. Wasn't eating right, wasn't sleeping right. I mean, the dude didn't weigh that much. He looked really thin, and I just thought he was, like, healthy because he was a drummer. The dude was, like, just a beast behind that set. But you hear these other drummers from Pearl Jam and Red Hot Chili Peppers say, "Hey, this and that." Then "Hey, you know what? You took my words out of context." I mean, I'm not gonna question them. It was in the article. It's what Rolling Stone put out. I'd really like to see the editor, what he has to say after Cameron came out and Smith came out from Chili Peppers, and to see how did you get your quotes? Where did you hear it from? I'm sure they just didn't hear it from somebody on Twitter. I'm sure that they heard from him directly and wrote maybe one thing that was out of content to them, say, no, you know what? You shouldn't have said that. That was just between you and I. I trusted you, and then you put it out there just because you want to sell more mags. That might have been that, and that really sucks. But that's what it is, right? That's the world we live in, right? The TMZs, they want to get that scoop. They want the hits. Everybody wants the hits. I think that's what's going on with this, and it's dirty because I don't think Rolling Stone really cares. I think they just want to sell more mags. It's sad. You lost a great musician, Taylor Hawkins. I mean, if they're running him to the ground, I just don't get it. I don't get. I'm having a hard time trying to figure that out. I'm having a hard time with that. I really am. I'm like, what could they have done to slow down? But I'm sure that you get the schedule and they're like, hey, get ready. We're gonna hit the road. We're gonna hit it hard, man. We haven't been on the road for a while. We're gonna go ahead and do, this is our itinerary for right now. And you look at it and you're like, oh shit, I'm not ready. I think that's what Taylor was struggling with. There'll be more out of this article and from the writer from this article of the Rolling Stone magazine. And I really want to kind of update that when it comes out. Um, it's sad because, like I mentioned, and just James Hetfield the other day, and I said to myself, they need to take a break, walk away. You have enough money. You'll survive for a few years. Take 2 years off. Take a year off. But I feel like they think time is on their side. But hey, look at the Rolling Stones, man. They're still doing what they're doing. Get off the road. And Metallica's hit it on. They've been moving during the pandemic. They were doing this and that. They're road dogs. Um, so James Hetfield. He's dealing with something, man. I don't want another tragic story, especially with somebody like him. I mean, we lost a great one, Taylor Hawkins. We don't want to, Chris Cornell. I mean, on and on down the line, great musicians that get lost, just dealing with anxiety and mental problems that they can't cope with, and they end up getting in these situations where they can't come back from it. So it's really sad to see this article. There's a lot more to it. I started reading a little bit of it, but I when there was more coming out, leaking out, I was like, "Oh no. No, no, no. That's not cool." So it's just sad to hear. I hate to hear it, but those guys, man, they're just like us, but they're on another level. They travel a lot, move a lot. Every couple of days, they're going from one place to another, international, local. I mean, all over the place. There's always something. Hey, we got to stick to our schedule. Go, 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 go. Next thing you know, boom, dehydration. That's what they're calling it. I'm not questioning it. I'm just saying Hawkins was just walking that fine line. A lot of musicians do that. That's how they cope. It sucks. It sucks living that lifestyle. Some of the young guns can do it, and they end up a lot of the young guns don't survive this game. It's hardcore, man. It'll take you. But I hopefully the writer from this story will come out and clear up a couple things because people are saying, "Hey, wait a minute, don't." Don't say that. I did not say that, and that's what I'm really interested in. How are they gonna clear this up and, make it better, right? Thank you for watching my YouTube stream, my live stream. I'm trying to build up some hours, to try to get monetized, so you're gonna see a lot of me, and I appreciate you putting up with me. There's nobody watching because nobody's really interested, so I'm just doing this to kinda build up some hours and, talk about some of these topics. Hopefully, you like the way I'm doing this format, and if there's a little change that you'd like or something you want me to add or talk about, just, tweet at me at Johnny Compian on Twitter, and I'd be more than happy to, you know, talk about whatever and watch. If you got some videos you want to, throw my way so I can watch and we can talk about them, that'd be great. I'm down for anything. I have the setup in here. I'm still kind of tweaking things in here. I got another area in here I'm going to shoot video at. So at some point, I'm going to move locations from the cave inside the man cave. I'm going to move into the other place I got set up where it's like a couch and, it's got candles in there and they got refrigerators. Every room that I go in has to have a fridge because I have to have something cold, to drink. So that's what I'm indulging in right now. Some Heineken Light. It's hard to find this beer. A lot of people are not a fan of this beer, but it's hard to find. It's one of my favorites. I love it. One of my good friends turned me on to this in Philly, and I haven't stopped drinking it since then. It was kind of hard because now I can't find it. The only place I can find Heineken Light bottles is at a Central Market here in San Antonio, and they want like $10 a six pack. But I'll pay for it. I'll pay for it and drink one beer at a time. Just try to conserve it. Um, I'm a huge fan of the Heineken Light. Now you can see, have it in cans. They just have it in cans, and I'm cool with that. Here, look, Heineken Light. If you're watching out there, Heineken Light, can you sponsor the show so you can like fill up my fridge? That would be cool because I bought a lot, and it would be cool if you can kind of like reimburse me a little bit to help me out because gas is like 4.25 here in Texas, and that would kind of offset a little bit, and I would feel better about myself if you kind of would fund the beverages for the cave inside the Man Cave podcast show. That would be awesome. If I could ask for any kind of endorsement, it would be free beer. You know what? Let's change that. Any beer is it would be cool. I would have a cool sponsor for any beer. I would take it because I'm a huge beer drinking fan. I love it. I love it. I love it. Maybe I thought about getting a kegerator and just putting it right next to me. So I could just pour it while I'm sitting here just chatting away. Um Maybe at some point if I get a sponsor from a beer company, either in San Antonio, Austin, Houston, Dallas, Amarillo, um, Corpus, Seguin, San Marcos. I know there's all these little breweries, these micro brews that are coming out. I can put your logo on the bottom of this, and we can have it running along the side there, where your beer can be right here, and I'll be drinking it too. See, so right now I'm having to pay for this. It's a Heineken Light. That's what I drink. See, they're not getting anything out of it. They're just getting a free plug for now. But I'm willing to put another beer up here. You know what other beer that I drink a lot that I really enjoy is the Belching Beaver brand, and that's out of San Diego. San Diego, Belching Beaver, the Deftones. Um, have a couple beers, different beers, and if you look up, if you, I don't know if you can see the cans behind me up there. Wait, hold on, let me see. Yeah, up there, all those up there. Yeah, right there. Those are all Belching Beaver Deftone beers. They're all good. IPAs, um, really good beer. It was hard to get, but I have friends. I have friends in good places that can score, they can get the beer here. And all of a sudden, I started thinking to myself, I'm like, hey, you know what? I think that I made something cool happen because I remember early on, I couldn't even sniff a beer. I had to have my brother who lives in San Diego go down to the place because they have a couple places down in San Diego, the pub, the Belching Beer Pub, and he got me a bottle of one of the first ones, and he sent it to me. No, no, I think he came down and he brought it with him, and then I ended up scoring a couple more from him, and then I sent some email. I mean, yeah, I sent some messages, some DMs on my Instagram to Belching Beaver at Belching Beaver, and it was telling him like, dude, that would be a hit in Texas. Send that over. You had a huge Deftones fan base in San Antonio. That would be awesome. Send it down. And all of a sudden, I have a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend who works for a big company chain in this town and happens to work with beverages, alcohol beverages, and made it happen. So now I say, "Hey, can you get this?" And she's like, "Yes, it's on the way." And actually, I have to go pick up some because I think I got 2 12 packs waiting for me at the from the Deftones Belching Beaver. Um, they came out with a new series and they have a bunch in there. There's like 2 they haven't tried yet. So I'm excited about that. At some point, maybe I'll preview it on here. Maybe in a day or 2. Um, and do a little taste test. Maybe you can join me. Right, but tonight it's Heineken Light. So just enjoy whatever you're drinking. Salute. So hopefully it seems like everybody's asleep right now. It's 4 in the morning, Texas time. And here I am podcasting, you streaming or whatever, YouTubing, and have nobody watching. So this will be recorded and you can watch it back. Hopefully they can keep this video because the last one I did like a 2-hour stream and YouTube was like, no, no, you can't play music, you can't do that. And I respect it. I respect it. I do. I really do. I really respect these bands and musicians. You know, it all started back in the day with Napster and Lars. You can't stream our music for free, but dude, I mentioned before, I mentioned before, I'm a huge music fan. So I've been around for the tail end of 8 tracks. My cousin from Houston, she turned me on to a Rolling Stone 8 track, and I played that in my dad's truck. And then it went to cassettes, then to vinyl, then to CDs, then back to what? No, MP3s, streaming, back to vinyl, and then now they're bringing back these cassettes that are $27 for a cassette, limited edition. It's crazy because I do have a cassette player on a boombox, a huge JVC boombox I have. It's really loud and just crazy. When I had my Jeep, I would just put in the back and, you pull up somewhere and you just crank that out. But that's old school. We don't do that anymore. But I still have the cassette player. But I digress. Now back to the way I feel about YouTube and these bands who are saying, you know what, if you're playing our video, you on YouTube with along with your stream, you're violating it and you can't do that. We're gonna just cut your video, which is it's bullshit that you're doing that because to me personally, I've invested a lot. I feel like I got skin in the game. I've bought Metallica Master of Puppets on cassette, on vinyl, on CD. I don't know how many times. Doesn't that qualify for something? Just I mean, I've paid for it a few times, $13, $20, $30, $40, $300 for a vinyl box that I just bought recently. Doesn't that give you kind of some right to and you have to use that word right loosely because yeah, they do own that. They do own the rights to the music. I get it. But why can't we just enjoy it? Doesn't it benefit them, the bands, when we do play it? When there's bands that are not on radio because radio doesn't do shit now for you. Everything's streamed on Spotify and this other platforms where you can get music, right? So I really want to push back on that because I feel that I'm doing them a service. If I'm playing a band that you've never heard on YouTube and I'm showing you the video, isn't that good for them? Because people are going to go and say, you know what? I really like what he was playing on Inside the Man Cave podcast show. And I want to download the whole album. I'm going to buy it for $10. I've never heard the band. I like that one song. So I'm going to go ahead and buy the whole album. Wouldn't that do them justice? See, I just don't get that portion of it. I get it. To me, it seems a little bit of greedy. You're not allowing us to do that. I don't know who it is, YouTube or the bands. Come out and explain that more. It's so restricted. Even doing a radio show and doing a podcast show professionally, you can't play a song for an intro. You can't play it for a rejoiner. You got to play this generic shit that it sucks. It's like you're in a fucking grocery store. We're not doing anybody any justice. I want to make it sound good, give everybody props, listen to this great music, listen to it if you like it, download it, buy it, put it on whatever your phone or your iPod or oh, they discontinued the iPod. They killed it off. No more iPods. And that sucks. I have a couple. Yeah, look, I actually have one right here. This is extinct now. Doesn't exist anymore. It's dead. The iPod is dead. Yeah. Wow. Goner. I still use it. I just don't get that. I really, really, really want to push back and argue these things, but you can't win against these powerhouse bands that are like, no, you're not going to play my Nickelback song on your show because you're stealing from us. Really? They were doing you a favor. Yeah, there's bands like Metallica, Linkin Park, huge bands that they don't need that. They're making enough money. They're playing these huge arenas, making money, selling merch. Yeah, everybody has their hands out with these businesses where everybody's making that money. I get it. I get it. But why can I not use 30 seconds of a song that I think is cool that makes me feel good when I play it coming into my podcast? Why must YouTube take me down and not allow me to play the song that I want that I purchased or I'm using your channel? I mean, come on, tell me, talk to me. I want to hear it. there's somebody out there that has an explanation because I really don't know the facts, and I've already put it on the back burner. Um, because I really don't care. I still do it, but I'm the one that's paying the price now because I can't monetize my channel because I've been, had strikes on because I've played music because it just makes it sound better. Whatever I'm doing, it makes it sound better. So I hate the fact that we cannot play music that we want on here. So I'm just playing video now and kind of going off that. Like I've played a couple clips from this and that. Um, which is okay, I guess, right? And I can sneak in, something generic, just to make it sound cool when I'm coming in. But I just want to, I just want to get something going where all these YouTubers who do what I do, because there's people out there that do a podcast and they don't use anything. They just do dry. They go in and they just start talking, and they shoot their video and they're cool. I want to put a full package out there and just like a whole package of how I want my stuff to. So when I play it back, it looks cool, it's presentable, and it's to my liking. It's what I want to put out there. So it would be cool one day to put something together and say, you know what, we're pushing back. We want to do what we're gonna do. Fight us on it. I want to push back. I want a little bit more freedom with the music. I do. Why not? It's not going to hurt you. It's going to help you. A lot of these bands too are selling their catalogs. So what does it matter at the end of the day? You're selling. Motley Crue sold theirs. The Beatles. Um, there's so many bands that are just selling all their music. So what does it matter to you now? Who is it? Is it YouTube or is it the bands? Who is it? Who's the one that's causing all this problem? Who is it? I want to kind of push back on this. I'm going to push back. I'm going to talk about it until somebody responds because every time I do something and I play a video or I get a strike or they're like you're not eligible to be monetized because you're playing music. Boo hoo. Playing something doesn't get played on the local radio or on XM or um any of those. I mean I get XM. I love it. Um, but some of those are just programmed. You're getting the same stuff on some of these channels, and it drives me nuts. It's like, man, you want to play, you're gonna have this, so play something that I haven't heard in a long time, and you're hearing the same stuff that you can hear on a local radio station that's pre-programmed. I remember when Eddie Van Halen passed away. You would think that everything would stop and you would hear Eruption or all the Van Halen hits. It was a while before they did that, a few hours, and then it started up. And that to me was sad. I think that if I was in charge, if I was a PD or operations manager for a local radio station, that as many times as Van Halen has been to San Antonio, the Hemisphere Arena. Speaking of venues, went to a lot of shows there. Why not? Why not stop what you're doing and play, give tribute to this band and this great musician? When I worked at a local station here, and anytime we would lose somebody in the music business, I would always pay him tribute. The whole 2 hours I was playing music from that artist, I would just like break everything and I would just do it my way. And to me, I feel that that just makes the whole presentation of what you're doing, you're paying attention, right? And the people who are at work or getting in their cars and they're listening to it, they're like, whoa, this is really cool. They're paying tribute to, I mean, it happened during Michael Jackson. We lost Michael Jackson. That's what I did. I played a bunch of Michael Jackson songs, and um, there was a couple more artists. Um, but yeah, we should be able to do that. I don't think you can do that now because if you do play it on a radio station, you'll get in trouble for it. It's like, how crazy is that? You're not allowed to play music from YouTube or whatever, a CD or whatever however you take your music now, because you're violating something. You always It drove me crazy. Doing these podcast shows on a professional level, that started happening pretty quick where we lost our intro, we lost our rejoiners, and it's slowly we're afraid to get sued. And I'm thinking to myself, sued by who? What are we doing wrong? What are we doing wrong? But that's the rules and we have to abide by them. It's pretty sad. Um, I don't like it. I hate it. Drives me crazy because I love to listen to music. See, I'd love to play something right now, but I can't. I don't want to lose this cool stream. I got a cool stream finally, and I'm still learning this stuff. So how to do my portion of this podcast and YouTube. Um, I enjoy it. I enjoy doing this, so I don't want to mess it up. I don't want to mess it up, and so I want to play by the rules, but I want to push back. I want to talk about it, and hopefully, it'll build up some traction. And some point, we'll be able to get some answers, and which I doubt, because I'm saying me, I'm like this small, and I have my opinion. This is that small, just smaller and smaller. It doesn't really matter, right? People don't care. People got other things to worry about, like gas prices and the cost of food going up and everything. I just think of how much times have changed in the last few years. It's just it's crazy how things have after COVID, things changed. Everything changed, the way we eat, the way we do stuff, the way we do interviews, the way we do phone calls, the way we communicate. Everything just changed. Some of it was for good, and some of it was just I can't adapt. I'm having a hard time adapting to change. Everybody hates change. Working from your house, you know, I have feelings about that too. I mean, you work out of your home, right? You have the home office now, which is cool. I'm working from my house. Cool. I get to stay home. But yeah, I mean, it's hard to kind of manage that. I don't have to do that. But if I did, it would be difficult because, man, you got things to do at home and you're like, okay, let me go do that real quick. But damn, I got to do this. So there's a lot of distraction. I'm sure it's hard for people to kind of, I'm sure by now some people are going back and then, you know, it's crazy. Like I'm saying, things have changed for the good or bad. Um, it's hard to adjust, yes, and hopefully one day we can get back to normal. Um, yeah, it's been pretty weird. So, just want to mention something. Speaking of radio stations here in San Antonio, there's one of my Facebook friends. I never met her before in person, but I know people who know her that are friends on my Facebook. Um, she lost her life yesterday. Her name was Stacy Taylor Ortega, and she was a huge Pearl Jam fan. And I've heard other friends that a lot of people that we follow each other are in the industry, the radio, former or current. So, you kind of see these people a lot and, kind of follow them for what they do, right? So when I saw that come down today, it just really hit home. I didn't know her personally, but she was a friend. She followed me. I don't know why, but she followed me, and that was pretty cool. I was shocked to see that because her husband came out and made a statement about losing his wife, and it was just pretty sad because I just lost my uncle last week, and that was a pretty hard hit to our family. So, you know, no one's ever prepared for those things. Things just happen. I think that's what happened here. Something happened, and she lost her life. And I'm praying for your family and for her husband and everybody around them, the friends. I see them grieving, and she was on the radio, so she was a well-known personality. So my heart goes out to her and her family. It was rough hearing that, and it just doesn't stop. It keeps going. We're losing people left and right. It's really sad how things are happening nowadays. So just man, just take care of each other. You know, that's one thing that I've been thinking about and trying to do is make amends with people that you just haven't had a chat with, or you guys had some kind of fallout. Reach out, man. See how they're doing. You know, I hadn't seen some family members for years, and it was cool to break bread. And it sucks because people are like, "Yeah, we only get to see each other if something bad happens," and that's so true. You lose a family member and everybody gets together like a reunion and everybody's kind of like trying to catch up. But man, we're here for this. And I always remind myself, like, this is not a reunion. We are, grieving about a family member we lost. This is not a reunion to me. And I made that clear. But it was good to see my family that I hadn't seen I haven't seen, certain people in my family for more than 10 years or even longer. But my heart goes out to Stacy Taylor, former DJ of 99.5 Kiss, and her husband. I'm praying for you guys. So, like I said, if you haven't talked to somebody, if you guys haven't, you guys had a fallout, or just let it go, right? Just let it go and go get a beer, or if you don't drink, go hang out, get a dessert, get some ice cream, or just go hang out somewhere. Just go take a walk, catch up for a little bit. Feels good, man. So much fucking hate in this world. I stopped watching the news, and I love to be informed, but all I'm hearing is the word shooting, shooting, shooting. That's all that's coming up. Headlines. And it's hard to you see that and you're like, man, it you feel like it's a trend, but in this state, everybody carries weapons now. It's like the Wild West. Um, I even went out and purchased one, and I never thought I would be doing that. I'm not a gun guy. I'm not, but I got to protect myself. When I commute or do something, go out. I was chatting with my brother about this. I was, kind of chatting with them, catching up with them today, and I'm like, we're talking about all these these shootings that were going on, and we're talking about a certain one. So, I said, when is a good time to carry your weapon, right? When's a good time to carry a weapon? Do you know that? I know I don't. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go down to the grocery store. Let me go ahead and get my weapon, load it up, and put it in my pocket. I don't think that way. I just kind of just leave it here and don't mess with it. So yeah, it's really a really hard topic to talk about, and it's sad, but man, it's going on around us every day. There's something crazy going on, but we have to talk about it because it's going on no matter what. You can't stop it. It's going on all around us. So you got to take care of each other. So on that note, I'm going to leave everybody tonight or this morning. I'll check back in with everybody, and we'll do this again tomorrow night, or maybe tomorrow during the day. I'll jump back in and try to get some hours in here in the man cave. So I appreciate you guys coming on here and kind of giving me some time. You can follow me on Twitter at Johnny Compian, and on social media. Just look me up, send me some messages. I'll answer them if I can. You guys have a good morning, and appreciate the support as always. If you got anything that you want to talk about, just email me, DM me, do whatever to get a hold of me, and I'll see if I can get to you guys. I appreciate it. You guys have a good day. All right, take care.